What is up, YouTube? This is T-Quentin1 coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you about the new Netflix original show, A Series of Unfortunate Events. Some of you may remember the previous film released in 2004, but I will always remember that title as belonging to my all-time favorite series of books, at least when I was a kid. I've read all 13 of the main ones more than once, and even dabbled in some of the spin-offs like the Beatrice Letters and All the Wrong Questions. So needless to say, I love me some Lemony Snicket. Now the last adaptation I thought was definitely flawed. And this adaptation also is far from perfect, but I think it's a pretty damn good try in its own right, and I do think it's an improvement over the previous film. The biggest positive to me is the tone. Above all else, I think that's the main reason the show is getting so much praise. Despite all of its pretenses of being miserable and impossible to watch, the show is, to quote Chris Stuckman, just gleefully happy and perfectly fine with being so. It's actually pretty delightful in my opinion, especially in such a dark, cynical time. It's just refreshing to see a good old good guys winning story. Now, some have said the show nerfed some of the book's darker moments, but I disagree. I think the books are dark for kids, but compared to a typical night on TV, they're quite tame. Also, what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the darker stuff came later. This is just the first 4 books of this season. And I think the actors, for the most part, do a great job. The kids playing the Baudelaires had a couple of line deliveries that sounded a tad off, but I liked these kids. Mr. Poe is a really fun supporting character, as are most of the people that come across, like Jacqueline, Justice Strauss. Don Johnson is great as Sir. I really liked most of the characters on the show. I have to talk about Neil Patrick Harris, and don't worry, I'm not going to compare him to Jim Carrey because honestly, that's a waste of my time and yours. And I had a very specific vision of who Olaf was in the books, and I can't say any actor has quite nailed it yet. However, I simply cannot deny how thoroughly entertaining Harris is. I never really saw him as a true threat, but he's clearly having so much fun that it just rubs off on you. I was quite skeptical of Patrick Warburton as Lemony Snicket. Don't get me wrong, I love Patty Warbucks, but I just did not know if he could pull it off. But he was actually my favorite character. He just nailed it. Not only is he pretty much exactly how I always pictured Snicket, but he manages to make the character his own too. Also, he is straight up the best TV narrator since Rod Serling. And of course, this being a Barry Sonnenfeld production, the costumes and set designs are just a marvel to behold. And can I just say, damn, that was a fast comeback. I mean, I thought this guy's career was done just a few months ago when he directed Nine Lives, but he really brought it here. He was the perfect showrunner for this series, and I think the books are definitely in good hands from what I've seen so far. There are some flaws though. While most of the actors are really fun, some aren't. For instance, this version of Aunt Josephine just got on my nerves. I kind of wanted to punch her in the face. I definitely prefer Meryl Streep. And while almost all the practical stuff looks great, the CGI does not, especially on Sunny. I mean, CG Baby should be fucking illegal. And since this season only adapts the first 4 books, there's a lot of familiar stuff covered here. If you've seen the original film, you know 90% of what's going to happen. And the final flaw is honestly kind of a personal thing, but I wanted to bring it up. One of the things I always loved about the book series is the only real people the Baudelaire children could rely on was each other. Even the more nice adults weren't very helpful when the bad guys came. But in this show, there's a few more people looking out for them, and I think that kind of detracted away from what made those characters so endearing. All in all, I thought A Series of Unfortunate Events was a pretty good start to a show I'm probably going to keep watching. I do want to see where it's going. I can't wait to see my personal favorite book, The Ersatz Elevator, adapted. So yeah, it was solid. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. T1 signing out.